Hello everyone, welcome back for another edition of Virtual Yin Yoga. I'm your instructor Mike, glad to have you watching. What I was thinking about doing for this particular practice, a very specialized Yin Yoga practice, something for headaches. I don't know about you all, but I know from personal experience that headaches, they're not fun to deal with. Something I used to deal with on a regular basis. I mean, I used to suffer from migraines, extensive migraines for quite a while until actually I started doing yoga. Meditation and yoga were the two things that really helped bring all of that down. I'm not too sure if it was just stress related or if there was a chemical imbalance. All I know is that after I started doing yoga for about a year, I noticed that my migraines, the stuff that I would have like once a month, was down to about once every 6 months. And now it's honestly almost non-existent. I don't want to say it cured that, but I definitely can speak from experience that it helped treat that. And in some cases, I think it helped prevent it. So I wanted to share that particular practice with you. So a lot of times when we have headaches, it has a lot to do with tension. Tension headaches are one of the most commons. And it's neck and shoulders that are the big issue. You might have some back as well, so I was going to throw that in there as well, a little bit of hips. But it'll be a very, again, specialized practice specifically for headaches. A few things that you might need before we officially get started. A yoga mat, obviously, if you got it. Go ahead and grab one if you do. If not, that's fine. Just lay on the carpet, any place that's comfortable for you to lay on. Just go ahead and go there. You might also want like a blanket, a pillow, or a yoga block if you got them. A hand towel sometimes can always be really nice, especially for not just using it as cushion, but it can be used as a strap as well. As one of the most like dynamic props you can have. But other than that, that's I think all you'll really need for today's practice. So when you are ready, you can go ahead, find that comfortable position, and then close your eyes. So whether you're laying down or sitting upright, I want you to pay attention to your breath and breathe low in your belly, low into your diaphragm. And if you'd like to double check if you're doing that correctly, place a hand on your stomach below the belly button where you feel the stomach expand. When you take an inhale, it contracts when you take an exhale. And this is belly breathing. It's a breathing technique I recommend for every Yin Yoga practice I teach because it is a particular technique that slows things down. It slows the heart down, slows the nervous system down. It also slows the mind down. And that's one of those things that definitely adds to the headaches. And again, what we're doing, specialized practice, Yin Yoga for headaches. A lot of this will involve the neck and the shoulders. There'll be a few things for our hips and for our spine. A couple of light stretches, but most of them, again, are going to be for the upper body, seeing as it's usually where the stress and the tension is held whenever you have a headache. But during this particular practice, if you ever find yourself struggling, just listen up to the modifications that I suggest. There are a lot of times where you'll try to do a pose and it doesn't work. There are various reasons as to why. If it doesn't work, that's fine. I'll give you options to play around with so you can pick and choose different ways to do certain poses or just different poses altogether to make it work for you as the individual. We all know that everybody's body is different. So again, listen up to these modifications if you feel like you need them, because you may. But in the end, let experience be your guide. Let your body tell you what you need to do. When you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. And we'll start our practice off, since it's going to be with the upper body, we're going to loosen up the neck and the shoulders first. So what I want you to do with your neck to begin is just rotate it. Nice circles here, nothing too crazy. If you go a few times one way, you got to go a few times the other, right? That's the golden rule of yoga. Always going both ways, doing your best to balance. And then when you feel your balance, you can rest your neck at the center. And we're going to do a couple of light stretches for the neck. With the neck, being that it is a smaller series of joints, there's less time required in these poses. So we'll probably do these neck stretches for about 20 seconds, roughly 20 seconds for each individual one. Feel it out. You may want to go longer. I would never go longer than a minute, though, just to make that 100% clear. Anything longer than a minute could put you at risk of overstretching. So like that 20 second to 1 minute mark is usually the sweet spot. I usually will keep it on the under, especially if I'm teaching, because a lot of times it's not just due to overstretching, but due to time constraints. But we'll start off taking an ear and lifting it up to ceiling. I want you to feel some lengthening throughout the side of your neck. And you're going to hold this again for about 20 seconds. And let your shoulders hang. You know, a lot of times when we do this, our shoulders want to bunch up. So you might have to actually kind of just move them around first for them to relax. And when you're ready, you can release it. And then we'll do the other side. Lifting the ear, elevating in the side of the neck to feel that neck stretch right here through the side. This is a slightly different emphasis, to lift your ear as opposed to try to get the ear to the shoulder. A lot of times when the ear tries to get to the shoulder, you end up overextending, so I'd prefer you not do that. When you're ready, release it. Just move it around a little bit. I want you to turn your head to the left, just to the point where you start meeting resistance. Don't push through that. Just turn it to the left. And then when you're ready, release. And you're going to turn the head to the right. Again, to the point where you meet resistance. But notice that two sides are different. You know, maybe you can turn your head easier on one side than the other. I definitely notice it for me. When you're ready, back to center. Again, move it around a little bit. We're going to do a couple more stretches for the neck. The first one is going to be for the jaw. And actually, if you did not know this, the jaw is also responsible for a lot of headaches. Often when these jaw muscles are really, really tight, because they're connected to your skull plates, they start pulling down on it. Again, tension headaches, that's usually where that stems from. Not all the time, but a lot of times it can be directly related to the jaw. So we're going to stretch it out a little bit by lifting the chin up to the ceiling. Don't crank back in your neck. Lift up with your chin. And try to bring your teeth together. That might help add an extra element to this. When you're ready, release it. Bend the head forward now. If you can get your chin to the chest, that's great, but if not, don't worry. The intention is to stretch the back of the neck here. When you're ready, release. Move around. We're going to do one more neck stretch. This is one where we're going to use a little bit of muscular effort. But before I get into it, it's easier to visualize this. 0 degrees is in front of you. 90s are your shoulders. I know technically one would be 90. Let's not worry too much about the math. Again, 90s are your shoulders. So what we're going to do here, I want you to take your right hand on the back of your head, pull your head down to the right to around 30 to 60 degrees, and you're going to feel the back left side of the neck stretch. We're just going to make a little bit of muscular effort, nothing too much. I don't want you to overstretch it here. When you're ready, release it, move it around, and then we'll do the other side. And if you're on the same page as me, it is left hand on the back of your head. Pull your head down to the left to around 30 to 60 degrees to feel the back right side of the neck stretch. When you're ready, release it, move it around. Shake it off a little bit. There's our direct neck stretches. So again, a lot of tension headaches are gonna revolve around tightness of neck muscles, jaw muscles. So that's why I wanted to isolate those particular areas. And you may notice, even if you don't have a headache, you feel a little bit more of that energetic flow. Things just feel loose around the neck. A lot of times that's really all you need. I'm not going to say again it is the cure, because it's not the cure. It's a way to help treat these things. I personally am a believer of Eastern and Western medicine. I think yoga is the unity between the two. So if you have to take like an Excedrin or something like that, it might help too. But I would also add doing yoga on top of that. But let's do some shoulders next. We're going to loosen up shoulder blades first. Rotate to full range. Nothing crazy, right? Just want to loosen these areas up before we get into the deeper stretches. Now, a few times one way and a few the other, right? Just doing your best to balance. When you got your balance there, you shake that off a little bit. Sometimes that feels nice. And then we're going to do the eagle arm pose. Eagle arm is a stretch for the back left side or back right side of your shoulder. Whatever it is, it's the back parts of the shoulders here. Once again, lots of tension revolves all the way through here. These big shoulder muscles here, your traps, posterior deltoids, rhomboids, all of the connective tissues that hold them together, they all run up through your neck. Right? So whenever they're tight, it pulls down the neck, causes those issues. So let's do eagle arm. We're going to stretch the back left shoulder first. You'll have your left arm on top of your right. Your elbows are going to stack. If you can, grab the hands, and if not, it's fine. You would just straighten your left arm. But I want you to pull your left arm to the right side of your body. So you're going to pull this arm away, whatever side you're on. If you're on the left side like I am, you're going to pull it to the right. It has to come away for it to feel that deep stretch there. Modify if you need to. Sometimes it feels nice to like lean forward into it or even lift up. I tend to lean forward when I do these. I call it the sleeping eagle pose. When you're ready, real slow, just let it out. Right, move it around. You can feel that difference already just radiating through that left side. But let's do the other for the sake of balance. And if you're on the same page as me, it is right arm on top of your left. Elbow stack, grab the hands if you can, if not, it's fine. But you're gonna pull your right arm to the left side of your body, right? Pulling it away is the key to this particular one. Feel that back right shoulder. I definitely needed this one today. I can absolutely feel that tension there. I don't have a headache or anything, although with the weather change, I'm very susceptible to those kinds of headaches. It's more seasonal than it is tension, but still it's nice to have this kind of system in place to help with it, because you don't want to be down for a few days with a headache. If you're ready, we'll say it's time. Just real slow, right? Letting yourself out. Move the arm around if you need it. Shake it off. We're going to do one more direct shoulder stretch, and then we're actually going to enter into a little bit of hips and spine. We'll do a broken wing pose. This is a rotator cuff stretch. And the reason why I'm suggesting this is because the rotator cuff, your supraspinatus tendon, is a massive tendon here, right? And all of these connective tissues, they're all, hence the name, they're all connected with each other, right? So even if you're tight, like just in your arms, that whole tightness runs all the way up towards the neck. So making sure all these areas are loose is the best way to prevent all of these things. But with the broken wing pose, you're gonna lay on your back. And with this, you're gonna have your hand behind your back, and I wanna face the other way. Your palm will be facing out, actually technically be facing the floor when you do this one. So you're gonna lay on your back, right? Palm facing the floor. To increase this shoulder stretch, you're gonna slide your hand up the back. If you even need it. If you need it, definitely lift it up. If you don't need it, lower the hand down. Or maybe even go to the sides, like to the left side of your back or the right side. I just wanna find out where you're most comfortable to feel this stretch run directly over the top of the shoulder here. And just breathe. Yield to the stretch. And with this, I'd rather you understretch than overstretch any day of the week. I don't want you to overdo anything. When you're ready, real slow, roll away from the arm. Let it out. Move it around. Shake it off. When you're ready. Other side. Whatever side you happen to be on. I'm on my right, but I have my right arm behind my back. My palm going to be facing the floor. Okay, so you're going to lay into this one. Two sides are different. So you probably get here and notice that just right off the bat. Maybe on this side you can't really slide your hand that high up the back. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe on this side your hand can like touch your neck. Right? For me though, on this side, this is the side that needs to be lower. I usually keep it towards my lower back. Sometimes I almost sit on it essentially. But again, lift up to increase, lower down to decrease, go to the sides, wherever is most comfortable. Feel the stretch right over the top of that shoulder, supraspinatus tendon. When you are ready, there's your time. Roll away from it, let it out. Move around. We're ready to enter into our hips and spine. We're already laying down. It's already where we need to be. But we're going to be doing a reclining twist pose. And let's coordinate the direction here, because I also want to throw in a shoulder stretch. So with the twist, let's go left. You'll lay on your back, knees at the chest, take them to the left, and you're just going to lay your legs down here for now, right? Here's the twist. You feel the right side of your body, the outside of your right leg. Sometimes we'll get it, your glutes, right? Essentially the right side of your body could be getting this. But to throw in a shoulder stretch, take your right arm out to the side here. You know, with this arm essentially out to a T, you get this chest and shoulder opener. You know, we've done a bunch of shoulder work anyway, so we might as well just throw this one in while we're here, right? If you want to stretch your neck, you can get a bonus by looking away from the legs. So legs going left, you turn your head to the right. Work that neck a little bit if you want another one. Or if you'd rather have more shoulder work, look with your legs. So if your legs are going left, look left and see what that does to your right shoulder. Whatever you need. But one thing that I did want to mention before we get too deep into this, if you feel like you're struggling with the twist itself, like maybe you can't get the knees together or you can't get your legs to the floor, it's where a block or a pillow or a blanket come in. You just kind of stack it up, put it on in between the knees or under the bottom leg here. Whatever works best for you if you feel like you need it. Some people will, some people won't. Just something I want to make known, right? You might need it here. And I would rather you be comfortable than deal with a lot of uncomfortable sensations. Because if that's all you're dealing with, you're not going to have a pleasant time doing your yoga practice. When you're ready, there's a time. Just really slowly unwinding from your twist. Take your time on out. Just lay down if you need it. You may want to lay flat. Sometimes it feels nice to cradle the legs again. I usually do my best to resist the urge to move, where I'll just stay still for a while. Other side though, if you are ready, whatever side you're on, but if you're on the same one as me, you're twisting to the left now. So that means knees up to the chest, or sorry, you're going right, there it is. Sometimes, you know, when we switch we get confused, right? What's my right and left? So you're going right to stretch the left side of the back, right? The obliques on the left side, outside of your left leg, sometimes your glutes, your butt muscles, just to be crude about it. But then I also threw out the shoulder stretch with the arm out to the T. It would be the inside of your left shoulder getting this one in this particular modification. But it's optional. I just want to make it known since we did a bunch of shoulder work anyway, so if you feel like you want to do it, it's there for you. Pillow, block, might want to have it in between your knees or under your bottom leg or maybe both. It just kind of depends on if you feel like you need it for the side. If the knees can't get together, then yeah, definitely, or if the legs can't get to the floor. Or if you're just noticing that it's not really a broad stretch, but it's more right here in the back of your hip. This is right here is your SI joint, one of them. And we don't want to stretch directly into the joint. So use a pillow or prop to make that go away. And then stretch your neck by looking away from the legs. Stretch more chest and shoulder by looking with the legs. Just whatever works. But I wanted to make sure we do a twist because it's believed, again, with Eastern and not just Eastern, like Taoism and with classic yoga itself, with this particular twisting move, it's said to believe it's one of the best ways to balance yourself energetically. And I don't know how familiar you are with the energetic sides of yoga, but they say any amount of imbalance in energy causes dysfunction in the body. And twisting like this can help alleviate a lot of that to bring back balance. So if we're ever going to do a specific practice that targets a specific ailment, twisting is usually going to be a part of that. And again, want to repeat this. This will not cure anything, but can help treat things. When you're ready, here's your time. Slowly unwind. Take your time on out. We're going to do a forward bend and we'll do a back bend, right? This is just something I would always advise you do. Regardless of whatever practice you are doing, there are always two poses I would have you do every single day. One is a forward bend, one is a back bend. Well, we'll start with the forward bend. I'm going to do caterpillar pose. Both legs out in front of you. If you want to do this, feel free. But both legs out, lean forward. Grab something. Yeah, it could just be the knees, shins, ankles, around the feet, or toes if you can grab them. It's not the intention, but sometimes you'll get there. The intention of this is to stretch your back broadly and the back of your legs, right? Glutes to knee. These are your hamstrings. If you can grab your toes, you can get a bonus calf and Achilles tendon stretch. That's the back of the shin, back of the heel. This part is extras, not a requirement. Just keep that in mind. If you're here in the area, you can do that. If you can't grab it though, here's where the towel comes in. I mentioned that. Or if you have a yoga strap, those are great too. You can just use that as a prop to loop over your feet and help pull you forward. But again, back of the legs and the back are the target areas here. And something you may want to consider doing is letting your head hang forward, especially when we're doing something designed around opening up the energies and all those channels in the neck. Let the head hang forward here because you can stretch the back of your neck that way. If your head is constantly upright, you're engaging it. And in fact, you'd probably be making things worse. With the head up, you have to use muscles here, and they'll tense, right? They'll tighten. So if we let them hang down, those muscles can now relax. And again, if we're focusing specifically on tension headaches, tightness from somewhere, whether that's in the back of your neck or like an ocular tension kind of pain, we gotta let muscles relax. If they don't relax, they will not. They'll never be alleviated. You'll suffer with the headache until it feels like it's over, and that could take days, really. So let's knock a few days off that process by doing something like this. When you're ready, there's your time. Just real slow. Put yourself on out. Lean back, lay down, take a moment, at least a minute. Short breather. In a moment, we'll do a back bend, and before I know it, we'll be done with this. The next and last of our yin postures, a back bend, is called the Sphinx Pose, where you lay on your stomach, you prop up on your forearms and your elbows, and this is the pose. Not a stretch or anything, you should just feel this dull pressure right there in your lower back. And again, the reason why I'm suggesting it is because we bend forward. If you're going to bend forward, you got to bend backward just to complete the movement. You don't want to just go one way and not the other. And people do that a lot with their practice. You know, they have habitual tight spots that they need to stretch repeatedly, and it's important, obviously, to continue with that. But a lot of times, there's always a counter act to it, and if you're bending forward, the counter to that is to bend backward. If you're twisting one side, the counter is to twist to the other side, right? So it's just a balance standpoint, really. That's all we need. So again, we're going to go forward. We got to go backward. We'll hang out here just for another minute. Nothing too crazy. You're ready. This time, go slow, let yourself on down. It's going to feel nice to just hang out here for a little bit, but at some point it's going to feel really nice to do a gentle forward bend like child's pose. Usually that's the go-to here. But there are always other options like laying on your back and cradling the legs. That's fine too. We are at the end of our practice. If you're ready for Shavasana, for corpse pose, you can go ahead and lay on your back if you'd like to, or you can sit upright like you're in meditation. Just wherever you're comfortable, go there and close your eyes. Nothing to see at this point, just more to feel and pay attention to. Focus on your breath. Breathe low in your belly, low in your diaphragm. Turn your senses, your awareness within. And for these last few minutes, just give your body a compare and contrast. How different do you feel right now as opposed to when you first started your practice? No formal ending to our practice. Stay in your Shavasana as long as you'd like, but that's officially all that I have for you. I want to thank you all for watching and sharing your practice with me. It's been my pleasure. Namaste.